Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Arkansas Weather Blog. We are your ticket to big weather events, recording this Saturday, December the 10th at about 1 o'clock. I've got my Snow Patrol sweatshirt. I'm a member, an honorary member of the group. It's not just for Saline County, but that's where I know the people who started it are from. Saline County, they sent me the sweatshirt, and so this time of the year, I like to break out my Snow Patrol sweatshirt, but it's not snow that I'm worried about, and I'll tell you about that in just a little bit. But I just had to wear it. Anyway, I hope you saw the blog post that I had yesterday, Friday, that I posted about what the Europeans showed. I mean, that was just like, eesh. I think things are, this is Saturday, things, at least how this, not the specifics, but how this may unfold is a little bit more clear today than it was yesterday. And there are some things that I want us to pay attention to down the road, but there's a lot going on. I mean, this is anything but quiet. Anything but quiet. So weatherbell.com. I'm gonna start off. This is instead of showing you, sorry about that. Go right here. Instead of showing you 24-hour high temperatures, I'm gonna show you just the snapshot temperatures, which just means what the temperatures are expected by this computer at that time instead of highs and lows. And we're on the fringe of some pretty cold Arctic air. This is Tuesday. We're gonna start this on Tuesday at noon. 20s and 30s to the north. I mean, that's nothing majorly cold for this time of the year for them. We got 40s, and then you see near 80 along the Gulf Coast. Well, here comes another push of some very cold air. So, again, that was at noon on Tuesday. So now let's look at noon. Well, this isn't going to show you. Yeah, there's noon Wednesday. So you see the sharp boundary through Texas. So you got a push of colder air coming in. You're talking about temperatures in the lower 40s around noon on Wednesday, and then in the Ozarks, it's in the lower 30s. We'll just keep on going here, folks. This is at 6 a.m. on Thursday, 20s, 30s. I'm going to zoom in on this in just a little bit in Arkansas so you can kind of get a better idea. But I just wanted to show you how there's another batch of cold air coming in, which should go all the way down to the Gulf Coast. But notice the warming which is taking place across Texas. And this is Friday morning, very, very important. I'm going to zoom in on this in just a little bit, but this is Friday, December the 16th at 6 o'clock in the morning. Lower 30s, upper 20s. And watch how this, it holds across the state, but you can get a sense of the warmer air pushing in from Texas and from the south. You can see that by noon on Friday. And then you really start to see this late in the day Friday where we're all above freezing. But you see this warm air trying to move in, all right? Well, this is cold air trapped at the surface. Very important to know that cold Arctic air is dense. It's heavy. And when you have warm air overriding that creates a lot of clouds, overrunning, and for the model to see this far in advance, what it's telling you right now is that it's going to be very, very difficult to warm these temperatures up. It's like trying to move a brick with a garden hose. And that's what this is. It's a brick, and you're trying to get a garden hose of moisture and moving it, and it's very difficult to do. So it does, though. This is the GFS from Weather Bell. This is Saturday morning. We're in the 60s. Do you believe that a week in advance? No, I don't. But I do believe it's going to try to warm us up as warm air rushes in. But then look what happens by Saturday at noon. Come on, computer. And then you look at later on in the day, Saturday. I don't know why it's Sunday. Let's just go straight to, okay, so this is Sunday at midnight. There's the Arctic boundary coming back in. I mean, you're talking about 20s north to 60s south, and look at the single digits. I mean, that's one heck of a boundary. All right, so now I told you I wanted to zoom in on Arkansas, again, using weatherbell.com. So let me go into... So this is telling us that on Thursday at 6 p.m., where most of the state is in the 30s and 20s. And then Friday, this is when the precipitation tries to come in. And I'm going to give you my conclusions about where I think this is going in just a little bit. But this is Friday at noon, and look at all the temperatures in the 30s. Remember, for the model to see this, and Arctic air is usually colder and stronger than what the models project down the road. It could actually be a little bit colder, which is very, very crucial because we're going to have moisture. But you already see the signs out here in Oklahoma and Louisiana and into Texas of that warmer air trying to push back into the state. We've got temperatures in the 30s And it does warm up. I mean, the warm air, according to this, does win out. How warm, I question. But this is Saturday. Let me back it up here. Here's what I was showing you. Again, remember that bigger scale? Now I'm zoomed in on Arkansas. This is Sunday at midnight. This is one incredible boundary. I mean, again, the specifics, you cannot forecast specifics this far in advance, but it appears that warm air tries to come back and then the Arctic air, comes charging back into the state. You're in the 60s and then 20s north. I mean, this is just incredible stuff. I don't know why it's having trouble advancing. So this is Sunday morning, just to give you an example. Again, don't look at this for specifics. And for a computer model to handle this, you can forget about it. It's going to be wrong. Either the Arctic boundary is going to be north, it's going to be south, the cold air is going to be colder, not as cold. I mean, it's just not going to be able to handle the specifics on this. 60s, it's showing across the south. So here you go from 65 in Monticello to 40 in Little Rock to the teens in northern Arkansas. I mean, wow. Now let's get to what you want to know about, precipitation. And where I think this is going. Again, GFS. And to an extent, the European shows something similar. Important to know what you're looking at here, obviously the state of Arkansas. That red line is the 32-degree line. So that's very, very important to know where that 32-degree line is located. That blue line is the 35-degree line. So here we go, Friday morning. And this is showing you precipitation over the previous 6 hours. So when you look at this, you can't say, okay, this is Friday morning at 6 a.m. You can't say, okay, this is what it's doing at this location according to the model. No, this is what's happened over the previous 6 hours. And this is frozen precipitation. This is freezing rain and maybe some sleet. You see the 32-degree line across the Ozarks and down into the Ouachitas. So you got southerly winds coming back. That you see these isobars, those black lines. You got warm air trying to push back over very cold, dense Arctic air at the surface so that moisture is overrunning. And what the computer models will have a difficult time doing, it will have a very difficult time understanding that Arctic air this far in advance, and it will probably, 9 out of 10 times, try to moderate it too quickly. Now, with that said, okay, so the computer model, it's showing 40 and it gets only to 34. Well, that's still above freezing and you're out of the woods as far as any ice is concerned. You're out of the woods. So that's another important factor in this. How warm does it get? Does it stay below freezing or does it go above freezing? But here's the 32-degree line on Friday morning. So as this next round of precipitation comes in on Friday, December the 16th, it could, again, this is 7 days away, it could start out as a little bit of ice. And then notice how it's showing that cold air. There's pockets of 32 degrees or colder during the morning on Friday, and the rest of us are transitioning to that plain cold rain. Again, if there is an error with the model, it's that it's holding, it tries to get rid of the cold air too quickly. All right? Now it's getting chased out. It will moderate, but a lot of times it's slower in moderating and getting those temperatures above freezing than what the model projects, especially when you're talking about something 6 days down the road. Again, don't use this for specifics. And then late in the day, it's just a cold, miserable rain. And then the GFS, I'm not going to go past this. The European shows the moisture getting out of here, if I remember the latest European correctly. It gets the moisture on the backside of this, and that Arctic boundary comes through and gets the moisture out of here. The GFS wants to hang on to some precipitation, and it has more fun and games down the road. But this is what I'm talking about. There's so much going on. There's so much going on with the weather forecast over the next several days. So let me recap this and try to, and I know there's a lot going on here in what I said. We do have some rain coming on Sunday. Monday and Tuesday, not bad. Probably a lot of clouds, but it does moderate. It's going to be cool. Not cold, not warm, cool. Wednesday, another push of very cold air comes in. And then a new storm system comes in by the late in the week, by Friday. And as that next batch of cold air comes in, it's starting to retreat as the moisture comes in. And there's a period of time that something could get a little messy winter weather-wise. We're not talking about a big storm at this point, but we're talking about something that could produce some wintry weather with the onset of this. And then how long does that last depending upon how fast that Arctic air gets chased out? This is all according to the GFS computer model. Okay, hopefully I went through all that all right. Thank you so much for coming. to the Arkansas treat. Treat. We are your ticket to big weather events.